So about that cocoa trade. So everybody has asked me about the cocoa trade. So I wanted to just break it down here, try to explain it in a way that everybody can kind of grasp and understand where I'm coming from with that. Every year there's one of these types of trades and they're the outliers. And the whole thing and why I always talk about hunting for outliers is that's what we do. I don't care how you figure out your outliers, if it's shorter term than me, if it's fundamentally, I don't care. Your goal is to find outlying trades. These pay for your whole year. When you find those trades, like something like cocoa, it goes up 100%. That's awesome. We killed it. We had a great time doing that trade. However, that's normal. That's something we're going to see again and again and again as trend followers, as traders. So how do you figure out how to profit from it? So when you look at something like Bitcoin, and for me it was really looking at like something like gold or silver in the 2000s, late 2000s, and going like, how would I catch those trades? Like how could I stay in something that's that big and going that crazy for that long? And that led me to just understanding trend following, understanding volatility of each asset, and how to profit and continue to profit in those areas. So basically, when we're looking at something like cocoa or something like silver, give me 1 second. We're looking at something like cocoa or something like silver or something like any of these things, natural gas, lumber, there's everything moves like this sometimes. Tons of stocks. Most of these stocks aren't things that I could name because I'm not a stock trader, but a lot of stocks do that too. But we're looking at these things and they're making these big moves. How do you profit from it? So, I've already actually wrote it up. I just didn't post it because I didn't want to post it in this the 7-day scope. I'm going to make a breaking it down because I want to make a whole page for everybody of instructional things and how to learn things. So I'm going to post the thing about stops. We've had a couple comments on it. I know some people have been asking about it. So systematically, how to think about stops, I do nail that down. If you guys want it sent to you sooner, just send me an email. I'll send it to you sooner. Not a problem. But this is all important. These are the things that everybody glosses over when they're trading. It's position sizing. How do I make really small positions work? Well, you make really small positions work if you think of, man, if I have $1,000, like if you're thinking of it as a day trader, for example, which is how most people start trading. They go, oh, if I just took $1,000 and I made 10% on that $1,000, I'd make $100 and I'd be livable and blah blah blah. It's just not how trading works. Think about what you're going to lose first, and then also $1,000 that can turn into something. Now, if you're talking about like if you're waiting a whole year and you're in something like cocoa futures and you have $1,000, like once again, like futures are bigger contracts, so it's not something you can do easily. But let's say it's just something like hell, there's cocoa ETFs. You get the cocoa ETF, you get a signal, you're able to profit from that a full year. $1,000 turns into $2,000, more than 2,000 at this point. It's almost 150% trade at this point. So we're talking about ways to really profit in these things. Now, once again, like I said now please read this because there's a lot of good stuff in here. But like I said in here, these happen all the time, and one or two of these every year makes your year. So at the very least, you're most of the time trading is going to be maddening. You're going to have small losses, small winners. Things are going to drive you nuts, but you have this one thing that's going to go crazy sometimes. Sometimes it's two. The years I mentioned are under this 2020. I had the greatest year of trading. For that market at that point, it was my best year ever. It was awesome. I had a really good year. I've sent the returns to some of you guys, like we've all talked about it. But once again, it's like yeah, that year was great, but at the same time, my win rate was really low. So if my win rate's really low, how was that one of my better years? It was well over 100%. It's because there was a bunch of outliers that year. The market crashed, oil crashed, Things then went up, and they went up like crazy, and commodities started to move. And then the end of the year was nuts. I had my best 2 months ever at the end of the year. It was wild. And so being able to take profits on that stuff. And then the next year, 21, was even better. I didn't expect that, but all the trends that just started continued to trend in the commodities markets, and we had major profits that year. So a lot of those outliers all started working together. And then there's some years like 2018, 2019, where some of these trades, palladium being one in 2018, 2019, I remember that was just a wild one that made a bunch of money and basically held up the account. And then, we had some good sector trades and some of these things that all went really well. But at the end of the day, it was that big outlier that makes most of the return. So you just have to be ready to have those huge outlying trades. Like use $1,000 example again. Let's say you have $10,000. Use $1,000. And I'm talking really small sizes right here. Using $1,000 in a $10,000 trade. Let's say your risk is $100. Like you have a low volatility product like bonds, for example, that you could use a 10% stop and it'd be fine. You're able to ride that trend, and then you're making major money and major returns. Like you're able to do these things with smaller amounts of money than people think. I don't care if you have to trade to $100. There's fractional shares nowadays. You guys could trade $100 at a time if you want. I used to have to build up entire strategies and figure out the micro markets and the what's the smallest tickers, the smallest contracts. Oh, GLD is cool. Is there another one I could use that's even smaller? Like I had to do those things when I first started trading. You guys don't even have to do any of that anymore. One day futures will probably be fractional. Actually, I'm completely wrong. That already exists. It's called CFDs. I've just never traded them. So you guys have tons of different things that you can trade to keep your sizes smaller than they are. I mean, if they're small, you're able to profit, you're not losing big, and you're able to maintain major moves and major strategies that will continue to make you money for years to come. And the biggest thing about it is your discipline. If you can build up your discipline to trade this way with a small amount of money, I promise you will get more money over time. I promise you will make money, and then your discipline will be right so you can keep it. If your discipline isn't right, I don't care if I handed you $1 billion today, you would lose it all trading. So you just have to figure out your discipline first and then go from there. So I just put a few things at the bottom, like I've mentioned to most of the subscribers. If you're new here, check out the past ones, check out the past couple weeks. We definitely have laid a lot of information out. There just hasn't been much really a change going on. That doesn't mean we're having great profits. We're making great returns right now. A lot of things that we're in are moving up, and they're moving up nicely. That's great. So we just have to continue to be long the things we're long, short the things we're short, neutral on the things we're neutral, and stay there. Like at the moment, we're seeing a lot of movement. So hold the positions, call it a day. But looking through the sectors, IGV is leading. That's really cool to see. That is the software thesis that I brought to you guys recently. Um, we've been long it for a little while now, all year this year. So that's been a good trade, making some good money. It's continued to be long. Software sector. Part of the reason why we talked about that was the fact that most of these people that are hardware companies are trying to move into software companies. They're going to be needing to work with, buy, um, strategize with whatever it is from these companies in this list. So the ETFs are an easy way to take advantage of it. I don't mind if you guys go into it and find individual names that you like. Go ahead and do that as well, but make sure you know how to find those. It's easy to buy the ETFs though. Just for me, it's just easier. I think it's just a good strategy to have. Currencies. The dollar has been stronger than we would have thought. Considering that commodities are doing so well, the dollar is also doing well. This does happen. Melt up periods do happen where this kind of happens as well. We'll see if this starts to put more pressure on the broader market, but at the moment, it's just been kind of just bumbling around, kind of very boringly bumbling around back and forth in a range for the dollar. So we'll see if it breaks out hard to the upside or to the downside, and then we'll position accordingly. But at the moment, I'm not really too worried about it. Let's see where it goes. Futures, commodities at the top. We're long a lot of them. I wrote about oranges just last year, and people started to get like, pumped on it when it's all the way up high, but nobody ever traded it. Nobody ever talked about it much. So I just left it off. Yeah, we're long it. That's what we do. But once again, it's like nobody trades it. So who cares? I'm not going to continue to talk about it. Cotton, that was a trade we gave you guys recently. That's been moving up nicely. Sugar, another trade we gave you guys again recently. That's moving up nicely. Cocoa, obviously, we know what that is. Everybody's talking about it now. And the other thing too, I want to bring up before I go is, when you see so many people talking about cocoa, also realize like there's very few people who trade those futures markets. So as they're talking about it, you could talk to someone like me who actually trades it and does these things, like, or you could talk to people who just have never even traded a futures contract and just post stuff because they're trying to sell you something. Like, that's not what I'm doing. I don't even try to sell you guys on stuff. I'm just trying to put out good information, give it out to good people so you guys can learn how to trade. Like, that actually does matter to me. I saw the whole reason why I started against all odds, and the reason is that most traders fail. It's against all odds to basically go out there and try to win. And I feel like my story is one of those stories that's against all odds in general. So it all kind of moves together. And so I'm hoping that I can help you guys to become profitable traders. That was my whole goal. And so, seeing the energy market too, number 4, stay long energy. Don't do anything crazy. So many people are going, "Oh my god, it chopped back. It did this." Yeah, it's energy. It's commodities. It's going to be incredibly annoying. Stay along the energy markets. We're still in that trade: gasoline, oil, and heating oil. 5. Here's an update on our swing trade. We had that swing trade. We called it out last week perfectly. If you guys got that, great. I don't expect you guys to all, some people are just here for free stuff. Great. But if you do make some money on one of my ideas, I would say, give it to an animal shelter, give it to somebody, something like that. If you, not all of it, obviously, but something like that would be a way to do it. That's what I used to do when I first started trading, is give money to animal shelters, some sort of charity I enjoy, whatever it is. Give money to a homeless person if you make a good trade. I feel like it's good karma putting forward. But there you go. Good trade. Very simple. You can close it if you're a short-term swing trader. If you're like us, we're long-term. We're still in that Bitcoin trade. All right, guys, go outside. I actually saw some bees today. I'm excited. I'm going to go back outside in a little bit. All right, guys, have a good one.